people weird.
It's because they have time. Normal people are happy living their lives, right? People who are miserable have time to make other people miserable because they want the company. They want somebody else to sit in that pit with them, and I'm not about to. One of the ladies actually got into my inbox and sent me a picture of my Instagram and was like, take down the bigotry group. Your list is bigotry at its finest. And I said, if you don't get the shit off my page, because her hashtags were fuck feminism, fuck liberals, fuck Biden, cancel culture, belly dance Nazi, stuff like that. That's who y'all are siding with. That's what y'all are really up in arms hollering for. So y'all can have that. And I'm going to keep rocking out, and I'm going to keep telling y'all to die salty, because I don't apologize for anything I'm doing. I mean, don't get me wrong. I do apologize for some shit that I do that's wrong.
But not this.
But not this.
Not this.
If I had done this as a Black woman, if I do anything out of line, I'm hit way worse than anybody else. Like,
right.
I'm canceled and then some. But these people, they think, well, you're just being sensitive and... No, this is the thing. I'm sick and tired of the racist jokes. I'm sick and tired of the rape jokes. I'm sick and tired of all the fucking bullshit. And guess what? I'm at a point right now where I'm raising 2 daughters, and I'll be damned if they had the same experiences I had.
You know, it's interesting you say that. The day my daughter was born, that's when I became the feminist that I am now, which is strident. Because I've been sexually assaulted. I've had to deal with sexual harassment. I didn't get raises or promotions when less competent men did. I don't want her to have to deal with all that nonsense.
And it's just like you fight harder, and people are like, well, why are you fighting so hard? 1, I'm fighting hard, 1, for me, but 2, it's also for the women that are next to me and my children that are growing up watching and just like, is this what it is? How do we navigate this? And I'm constantly telling them, you can do anything, you can do, but can you? And I had to sit and think about that. And I really had to come up with some real hard answers for myself. That while I tout that, I, at some points, kind of didn't believe it, because growing up, getting the promotions, being in the military, getting the promotions that I got in the military, it was highly unlikely for a woman, right? Especially a Black woman. Yeah. And then I get the promotions, and I come in and I got like, yeah, I got the promotion. Oh, you got that because you suck some dick. No, I got that because I'm smart and I passed the test. No, it couldn't be that. What do you mean it couldn't be that? That's what it was. That's why I got 3 comp days, because I got 100 on my test. Just at every turn, like anything I did, it was like, it wasn't that I was ever smart enough. It was that I offered somebody a sexual favor. Yep. And I'm like, I have 2 girls, and I got sick of this shit. I really got sick of this shit. And at one point, somebody was like, oh yeah, she got that because she sucks some dick. I'm like, yep, I sure did. And that's why I got your promotion. How's it feel? How's it feel? I really got sick of it. And watching my daughters now, my oldest daughter's in college, and we go out to protest together, which I don't like, because she's my baby and I will murder behind my baby. And you watch your kids grow up and you're just like, we're fighting this injustice, and you're fighting for your own right to just thrive. Everything in this society tells me, my skin, my body type, who I am, tells me I should struggle. And everything should be a struggle for me, even love. And I refuse it greatly. And I choose to thrive. I choose to show my children that no matter what I'm given, I choose what I take, and I make the best of it, and I love myself above everything. And it gets really, some days are better than others. Let's be honest here. Not every day is like, I'm going to be completely honest. There are some days that I'm just like, does this shit ever end? And how do I have enough strength to help my friend who's crying over here? But then I look at my friend and I'm like, she was there for me when I needed her. And it's, you reach out and you grab and you support. And that's literally all we're asking for, is the sisterhood that everybody touted. That's it. The sisterhood that everybody touted. That's all we're trying to do. We're just calling people on their bullshit. Let's be honest about it. And then some of them threaten, well, I'll ruin her career. That's what they were saying. I'll make sure she never dances again and nobody ever knows her. We'll bury her. That's what they used to do to her. Do you know what I'm saying? Like this, when people say digital lynching, this is what that was.
But what's interesting though is that what happened to you is what the people who have discovered that they're on the blacklist fear is going to happen to them. However, as you said, somebody who has been particularly vocal was like, blacklisting is illegal. Well, first of all, only in a couple states.
Yeah.
And this is a nationwide group, so good luck with your court case.
That's exactly what I said.
But second of all, your court case isn't going to go over well because, first of all, there has to be libel and defamation. And for either of those things to be a thing, what they said has to be not true. And the whole damn internet has the receipts.
Exactly. I'm a Virgo. I keep screenshots forever.
Also, we're a group of freelancers and hobbyists. We can freely associate with whomever we feel, whomever we choose.
I feel like that's what they forgot. Like they forget, like, I don't have to associate with you.
Right.
They're trying to make it mandatory that I have to come into contact with them. They're trying to make it so that in some way, shape, or form, I have to deal with them. And I don't have to. That's the whole thing. If you're on the blacklist and you don't like it, you can go the fuck away and we never have to talk to each other.
Then everybody's happy.
Right? But you're making it so that you're even coming into my inbox. You're posting about me. They're putting my information out there. These people, we're not telling you their addresses. We're telling you if they're involved in an event. Like if they run an event, this is the event that they run. If they're a dancer, this is where they're based out of, the country. Oh, I can't list a country. I'm not listing your phone number. I'm not listing your address. I'm not listing none of that stuff. One, because I don't have time to do all that fucking shit. And most of these people, it's their stage name. It's not even their real damn name. That's the funny thing about it, y'all. That's doxing. That's not even a real name. I'm gonna get Zuckerberg on your ass and you're gonna have to prove that that's your real name, Shahrazad Lily of the Valley, okay? Like, get the out of here. Please remember, to be on the list, there has to be proof for you to be on the list. There has to be screenshots and there has to be at least 2 witnesses. That's how thorough this list is. This is not just something where we were like, I didn't like her toenail polish. No, these are real things that you have said. And people saw it and were like, I don't know what to do with this. What they're making it out to be is not what everybody is making it out to be. And I hope everybody is smart enough and has enough common sense to, 1, calm down and breathe. 2, really go look at the list and read what it's about. And if you have questions, ask. Because there were people on the list that are no longer on the list. Do you know why? Because they apologized and they're making efforts to do better. If you choose not to do better, I choose not to ever associate with you. End of story.
That should be okay. And that can be really painful. As someone who, is in a place of privilege, it is hard sometimes to acknowledge, I have behaved this way because of my societal brainwashing, and this hurts other people. I need to stop using the G word, even though I have these really lovely images in my mind of what it means. It hurts those people. So I got to get it out of my vocabulary. It has been expelled from my vocabulary, but it was hard at first,
Yeah. But you learn, right? I also realized that I have privilege. I am fairly good looking.
You really are.
And I'm thin. Good looks and thin can do a lot of things, right? Let's be honest about it. As when I was a plus size dancer, it was much harder for me to get gigs. Really, really, really hard. I understand I have my own privileges in this whole thing, and I've had to come to terms with a lot of it. And I've had to do shadow work. I've had to do a lot of it and just be like, I've had to unpack a lot of stuff that was poured into me, and that's okay. I had to be vulnerable to learn and be like, okay, what I'm doing is hurting somebody. Would I want to be hurt that way? Okay, so then cut the shit out. Oh yeah, okay, all right. And it only takes a little bit of just like being like, I don't know everything and I need to hear them out. I learned this dance. I'm not a source dancer, although I'm from the African diaspora. I have to sit back and say, you know what? I need to learn from some source teachers. Like, how do you guys feel about this? How do you feel about this? How do you feel when people do this to this music? Like, teach me and tell me so I understand. Like even one of the songs I was dancing to, that I had danced to when I was a baby dancer and I didn't know any better. And she was just like, yeah, there's this one song. And she told me the song and I was like, oh shit. I danced to that song. I went straight to my YouTube channel and I took that video down. It didn't cost me anything to respect somebody else.
Part of it too is we need to know which events, people are safe at. Absolutely. But also it's like how we want to know when we shop at certain stores, we want to know if they are supporting certain legislation because we want to know where our money's going. So if I'm going to take a workshop from you and my money is going to turn around and be given to a cause I do not freaking believe in, that I don't want to give you my money. And
people have the audacity to tell you what to do with your own damn money. It's really weird. That's how privileged they feel over certain people's lives. They're out here spreading who we are out. I wonder if they realized that when the Green Book was real, the KKK got the Green Book and would harass the people in the Green Book that were actually keeping people safe. They're doing the same thing. They're
basically proving, it sounds like, proving the point.
Which is funny to me, which is why I don't apologize for it. I'm like, y'all see why we need it because they're acting a fool. You just proved the whole reason why I need this shit. And I probably need 3 more. It blew my mind, but at the same time, to see the support from the people who actively came out and said, yeah, I was on the blacklist for the shit that I did, but I fixed it. Like I'm fixing it and I'm fixing my own thinking. And now I am, what did one lady say, which was the coolest shit? She was like, I'm not an ally anymore. I'm what did she call herself? Co-conspirator. She called herself a co-conspirator. And I was just like, yo, that's where it's at. I don't want allies anymore. I want co-conspirators because we're going to burn this shit down. She actually gave up. Sometimes when you think about this, it's crazy. She gave up all of her teaching jobs and told the organizers, I'll teach next year for free, but in my place, I want you to hire Black dancers to teach. Wow. Now, I don't expect everyone to do that. I do not expect that. But do you understand that is something to do, but also something else to do is if you see a Black woman getting attacked, if you see another dancer getting attacked for saying like, yo, this is wrong, like you shouldn't be doing this, be a backup for them because you don't know what kind of lifeline you are offering. You really don't. To see those 100 and something plus women and men show up in the comments defending me over and over. That comment post was 1,000 comments and to see that, it made me not feel alone. It gave me room to breathe. It gave me room to think because I'm trying to think like how unsafe am I really in my house? Who's gonna find me here? And who's gonna break in my front door or throw something in my window or try to hurt my children on the way to school? That's what I was thinking. And I have all this going on and this going on. And those women and men showed up to protect me. It does something to you. It takes you from a place of sometimes you speak out to like these women and men put themselves on the line for me. And I won't ever forget it. Like I reached out to all of them and I was like, you don't even know what you did for me. And one lady says, she's older than me. She goes, shh, baby, that's what we do. And I cried. I'm not gonna be quiet because that's what they do. They do it to make you go like, don't talk about it. Like even with the blacklist, people are like, don't play into it. I said, hell no. If those bitches go low, I'm going all the way to hell. We gonna play this game. Because what you're not gonna do is what other people have done is silence people with threats. Guess what? Right. If you want it, you can come get it. Always. Because you're not going to silence me. You're not going to silence a Nefertiti. You're not going to silence a Marley Vaughn. You're not going to silence a Kaylin. You're not going to silence anybody ever again. Do you understand me? If that's what you want to do, let's do it. I'm not going to be quiet. The moderators of any of the groups, we're done being silenced. We're done being pushed in a corner. And it's just, I'm not going to be quiet anymore. And I think through it all, I think some of the best things that I have gotten to do were, one is talk to you lovely ladies. And I've also got to meet some amazing dancers that have said, you know what? I didn't know how to navigate this, but I see you out there and you're just like, is this your friend today? What is this woman doing? Explain it to me. She goes, because I saw that and it really made me so sad. I'm really shy and I don't want to say anything, but you said it, so it was just like, okay, so I'm not alone in my thinking. I'm like, look, what you feel is what you feel. Your feelings are valid. Don't ever let anybody make you feel like your feelings are invalid. They are. What you say, if you don't feel comfortable saying it, slide it in my inbox and I'm gonna be like, from a little birdie, is this your friend?
Before we go, Catrice, let's talk about Mischief Makers.
Yes.
Okay, so real quick, Mischief Maker was started with myself and Natasha. She has the degree, she's the brains, and I am the rhinestoner and the person that really thinks out of the box. Kind of weird. And we got together because of our love of costumes. When I was plus size, I was trying to get a costume from a dancer, from a person that was making costumes. And because of my boob size and my hip size, they wanted to charge me $400 extra for my costume. And then I was looking online at a place that doesn't even exist anymore. You could type in your measurements and see what they had in stock. And then I typed in this measurement and they showed a gold costume, but the picture was kind of blurry and you couldn't really see it. So they were like, they had a great return policy. And I was like, I'm gonna buy it and see what it is. So I bought this costume and I was like, oh, it's gold and it's gonna pop against my skin. I'm gonna be a goddess. Nobody gonna tell me nothing. I get it. If you remember when you're a little kid and you used to do the BFF bracelets, you know, with the little letters and the hearts and all that stuff, that's what the costume was beaded with. At first I was like, no. And then I put it on and I was like, yeah, it's all over the place. I kind of called them up and I was like, you know, what's going on with this? And they were like, yeah, that's the only costume we have for your size. Like it's slim pickings. They said nobody is that size and nobody that size really dances. But here I am.
Yeah.
So obviously that's a lie. Seeing my smaller dance troupe having all these like beautiful sparkly costumes and then I have this like monstrosity. I didn't feel beautiful. I don't know. I just didn't feel. I felt embarrassed. I felt sad. I felt ugly. I didn't even want to be there. And I ended up returning the costume and I was talking to Natasha and Natasha was like, let's sit down and design something for you. And I was like, I wanted lace. I wanted see-through. And she goes, we can't do see-through. I was like, fine, let's do illusion. So we sat down and designed this whole costume for me and we made it. And I went to a festival, Art of the Belly. And when I got on stage, it was so funny because Natasha was in the audience. And I go on stage and the band, when I come on stage, the band goes, and I could hear everybody go, and I could see phones coming up and you know, you can see the clicking because the stage is dark, everything is dark and you could see the clicking. And I come off the stage and Natasha goes, I don't think not one person didn't have a camera taking a picture of you. And I go out from the dancers area and there was just people like, who made that? And I'm like, and I pulled Natasha, I'm like, we made it. The end of the festival was coming and then a lady came up to us and she goes, I've never had a costume fit my body. Will you make me a costume? And I was just like, yeah. And she goes, but can you do it in a brown that will match my skin tone? And she goes, because these are the costumes I've had before. And she looks so ashy. So we made her a costume. She danced the next year and everybody asked her, who made your costume? And she was like, them. And I have to say this with the most lovingly way. It turned into a complete clusterfuck. Like it really did. Overnight, we had 40 and 50 people emailing us to make costumes. When I tell you it's just Natasha and I, that's it. We do all the shopping, all the sourcing, handmade patterns. That's us in my living room on the floor, listening to death metal music, tracing patterns and measuring. That's how we do it. And one day somebody said, oh, you guys should like think of your mission statement. Natasha was like, I like designing costumes for everyone to feel beautiful. And I was like, yeah. And she goes, but I specifically like designing for Black women, because not enough people cater to them. Not enough people pay attention to them and offer them even the chance to shine and be beautiful. And also, when dancers are plus size, that doesn't mean that they want to be covered up in these big mom gowns. They want to be just as beautiful and sexy and alluring as the next person. And we like making sure that they feel that way. And I'm like, yeah. And that's literally how it came about. Like we sat there and thought, like, just because you're a different size, different shape, different skin color. We even designed for a lady that only had one arm. and we made this beautiful gown for her. None of that is a disability. None of that should be overcharged for. That is something that is natural. That is something that is you, and that is something that should be celebrated. But that's how it started, and it started with costumes, and then we went from costumes, and the lady that ordered the first costume was like, make my wedding dress, and then we made her wedding dress, and then she was like, oh yeah, make my honeymoon attire, and we're like, what? And then we started making honeymoon attire, and then we made prom dresses, and because I am a nerd, we jaunted over into cosplay. I was just like, let's test it out. One of my favorite movies is Fifth Element. I don't care, don't talk about me. And I was like, I want to make a cosplay. And she was like, okay, which one do you want to do? And I was like, Lilu, Fifth Element. And she goes, okay. So as you know, Lilu is straight up and down, and I am not that. So we designed the costume to fit my curves. And then we went to BlurredCon. I'm walking around and everybody is like, and I'm like, why is everybody staring at me? And we keep walking, but you know that weird feeling when people are like, and this one lady comes up to me and she taps me on my shoulder and she goes, you're the first Black Lulu I've ever seen. Can I have a picture with you? And I'm like, yeah. And I even made a multi-pass with my picture on it. And she was like, smile. And I go, multi-pass. And she goes, and in the picture, she's like, it was awesome nerd shit. I'm not even gonna lie to you. Like, it made my heart so happy. I've always been a nerd, but you know, when you're younger, you're told don't be a nerd. Like, now it's cool to be a nerd and be young. But as a young kid, if you're a nerd, they're like, don't be a fucking nerd. Like, you know what I'm saying? So now I'm able to like let my nerd flag completely fly and people embrace it. And then I also get to do what I love, which is design and add my nerd element into it. Like, one of my costumes upstairs that I will be debuting pretty soon is an ode to a Nuxunamun from The Mummy. So nice. It's like, for me, it's really cool that I'm able to, one, design for me. One, because I never saw this as something I could do. But two, when I see another dancer, to see them on stage smiling, it heals me. Like, yeah, it really does. It makes you feel like I'm not worthless. I really can do something, and I have something to offer people, and people love it. It gives you a chance to give somebody else some love. And then when they come off the stage and I'm like standing there and I'm like jumping up and down and I'm like, ah, and she's like, you made me feel beautiful. And I'm like, oh, damn it. And for every time I was told I was ugly, I still found beauty in the world, and I was able to share it with somebody and they see it, and you're able to connect like that. And it just makes me happy. It makes me so happy. Even if I wasn't dancing, I would still be designing, because that's where my heart is. Dancing is the icing on the cake, right? Designing is the cake. It is the cake. It's the thing that feeds my soul the most. Just to see the joy. It makes me so happy that I do it, and I do it a lot, and I overbook myself because I love it. It's just something I love to do. And I know, Natasha, to be able to share that experience with somebody who was with me at my dance career when I didn't feel loved in the dance community. I didn't feel safe. And at every turn, this woman has been there. Together, we've built this thing. I don't even know. It's just magic.
Tell us where we can find you on the interwebs.
On the interwebs, you can find me at CatriceFairuza.com, and you can also type in Catrice Fairuza and find me on Instagram, and you can find me on Facebook. But if you want to get some like cosplay stuff, you can find me at Treacy's Pieces. Treacy's Pieces is a mix of memes, more cat crap, my TikTok stuff, which is risque to say the least. I'm going to tell you right now. Come on over. It's fun. It's fun. And there's a lot of nerd shit. And sign up for my newsletter, because in my newsletter, you get tips and tricks. Well, I don't want to say tricks. Okay, yeah, tricks. You get tips on like how to resell costumes, how to glam them up, also how to get the funk out of your costumes. Also, you get just like, look, I want you to think we're in COVID, people are still staying home, but I also, while you're sitting at home, take care of yourself. So there's like tips and tricks. Like I make bath bombs, and I learned how to make bath bombs with baking soda. So I teach you how to do that. Look, I just put you on game. You can start a business now. Business. And that's what I talk about in my newsletter. Newsletter is not like, come take classes with me. Look, I don't really want to get dressed for a class. Come hang out with me. Let's talk nerd shit. Let's talk belly dance. Let's burn some shit down and drink some wine and have a charcuterie board.
That was Catrice Fairuza. Catrice, thank you so much for coming on again and talking to us. We really, really appreciated it both times around. It was fabulous. So really, thank you so much. But we will see you guys next week. My name is Perizaad.
I'm Faizeh.
And that has been Raqs Talks. Give us a like, comment, and subscribe if you haven't already. Otherwise, we'll see you next week. Masalama.
What I want to say is, when Black, Brown, BIPOC, LGBTQIA plus people have to start a list to protect themselves, you have to be in a vulnerable enough state to ask, why should there even be a list like that? Is the community that unsafe for them that they have to have a list? And if there is a list, the answer is yes. Yes, they are that unsafe. And instead of going into your feelings and being, now don't get me wrong, there is a point where you, of course you would be shocked that you're on a list. But when you read what you're on the list for and it resonates with how you've acted in the past, your righteous indignation can go out the fucking window because it's fake. It's fake. You've done what you've done. Now, I can only speak for the Anna Boriskova because that's what I know about the list. I don't know about the other stuff. Kay is on the list because she did what she did. I don't make any apologies about her being on the list. She did what she did. Yeah, you're a Black woman on the list. That should tell you something about yourself. You're not a safe Black person for even Black people. And that's on you. That's not on anybody else. And when you see that you're on the list and your first thought is, I have never hurt anybody in my life, that is a lie. That is an outright lie. Because you know what? We've all hurt people. Everybody has said something very repugnant. Everybody has told a lie. Everybody has, at one point in their life, said something that made them go, ooh, I really said that. Everybody. So before you get in what world have I ever, this motherfucking dimension, you did it. And you hurt someone. Take responsibility for your hurt. Take responsibility for the person that you, take responsibility for it. It ain't hard. It's just, all you have to do is, be like, yeah, you know what? I was on some racist shit. I was on some fuck shit. I was on some demeaning, angry, vengeful stuff. And I said that to hurt her. I won't lie. I said stuff to hurt people because I'm a human being. I'm a human being. But here's the difference. When I've said stuff to hurt people and when I've sat back and I've been called out about the stuff that I said, and I've called my own self out about the stuff that I said, I took responsibility for the words that I said. And as loud as my disrespect was, that's how loud my apology needed to be. If I said something out loud and to somebody, I made sure I apologized to their face, not no little fake, I'm really sorry for what I did. No, if I said it loud, I'm going to say it loud. And for the community that is like, what have lists ever gotten us? Name one business in America that doesn't have a list of people that they don't do business with. Quit playing with me. What you're saying right there is Black people don't deserve the right to say where their money goes. That's what you're saying. If that's what you're saying, say fucking less. Say less. Real talk. Say less. Say you have a real problem with Black people holding on to their money and not dropping it at your feet like we're some kind of goddamn servant. If you don't get the fuck on. The other thing I'm going to say is, if you jump into anybody's inbox talking about, I thrive off the madness of this, you are a goddamn psychopath. And I pray for anybody that comes in contact with you, because you're not here to do anything good. You are literally what is an agent of chaos. You are. And if you thrive on that, I have to think the rest of your life is shit. You can't be happy. You can't be. You may fake it. You may, I'm so happy. You're not. You're miserable. I see it in your eyes. Please, I read energy. I'm an empath. I know. You're miserable. Stay that way for a very long time. Stay that way. And if you have a problem with somebody and you think they put you on the list, don't write them. It's not your business to even know if they did. The fact that you're on the list, you should really be like, damn, I'm on the list for some stuff. And the other thing, comparing people to Nazis because there's a list, you are stupid. I'm gonna say it right now. You are dumb. Dumber than a box of rocks is what my papa used to say. There is a list because I am not safe. My friends are not safe. My LGBTQIA plus people are not safe. Of course, there's a list. Have you ever walked into an event and heard somebody say some really messed up shit? Because I can tell you, I've walked into a lot of events and I've heard people say really repugnant things. Really repugnant things. And for the people that are really listening to a woman that has had a 10 plus years of being racist, homophobic. Look, I'm gonna say all the phobias because she's been all the phobias. You're taking her word over what's really going on. Like, have you even investigated? Have you even asked a question, or are you just assuming? Because I'm gonna assume that you're dumb enough not to know how to research, but I'm assuming you went to school. So if you went to school, you know how to research. You know how to say, there is something that doesn't make sense here. Let me ask some pertinent and important questions. And if you are not asking them, you are a sheep ready for slaughter. And I have a bridge I want to sell you. Don't come in my inbox talking about, I want to know who made the list. Don't come in my inbox talking about my lawyer or I'm calling the FBI. Look, the FBI is busy trying to catch the insurgents that stormed the Capitol. They're not worried about you. I'm not worried about you. Get a life. And if you come at me, what I am going to tell you is, none of you have frightened me. None of you have scared me. I'm not going to stop doing what brings me joy. I'm not going to stop dancing. I'm not going to stop encouraging other people to dance. But what I am going to do is, if you come at me wild, please be prepared for me to go even lower. Because this is not about, I'm going to go high. No, bitch, we're going to ride this road to hell. I'm done. I'm not afraid of any of you. When you say my name, you better remember who I am. Yes, I am Catrice Fairuza. Say my name with respect. Don't come playing with me. Don't play with my friends. Don't threaten people. Don't threaten people. That's the scariest thing I'm seeing, is you guys are threatening people who had nothing to do with this list, but you're assuming because it's easier to assume the Black angry woman stereotype than to look at yourself. You absolutely have the freedom of speech, but you are not free from the goddamn consequences of what you say.
Ding, ding.